Hi, this is Nick Forster. This week in eTown, we're going to revisit one of our favorite shows, and it starts right now.
From eTown Hall in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, it's eTown. With this week's guests from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Dead Horses. Our interview guest, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Matt Richtel. And from Boulder, Colorado, Daniel Rodriguez. I'm Helen Forster. Right now, please welcome our host, Nick Forster.
Thank you, Helen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to eTown Hall, our solar-powered musical community center here in the middle of downtown Boulder. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of this. It's good. It is good. This week, as Helen said, from Milwaukee, we've got the band The Dead Horses with us. We have a guest, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Matt Richtel is here to talk about one of his recent books that is all about our immune system. And it's called An Elegant Defense. I just finished it a while ago. It's a great book. But first, we've got a great local music story. Daniel Rodriguez moved from Connecticut to Colorado, and then in 2006 joined up with a bunch of his friends, formed the band Elephant Revival. They recorded 5 records together, and they toured all over the place. They went on hiatus, I guess, in 2018, and Daniel kind of launched his solo career. He has been doing great. He's been out opening shows for people like Josh Ritter and Mandolin Orange, and he opened up for the Lumineers on their European tour. So big stuff is happening. We're really happy he's here. Please welcome back to eTown, Daniel Rodriguez.
Springtime blooms like epiphany. I'm shaking hands with synchronicity. I'm playing the beats, yeah, you know where they're at. I'm burning one down for Kerouac. Autumn falls like a recurring dream. Nature's bursting here at the seam. The wind at her back, so mad as it blows. I'm burning one down for Idaho. Keep the music playing like a mixtape. Keep the vibe rolling down the freeway. Keep the moral high. The process is a destination. Spread your love across the nation wide. Whatever it takes to keep you right where you are. My sunglasses down, crying in the backseat of a car. You're shedding layers like a hot summer night. Uncovering who you are, like it's your goddamn right. Keep the music playing like a mixtape. Keep the vibe rolling down the freeway. Keep the moral high. The process is a destination. Spread your love across the nation wide. When it drifts like a vagabond, when the embers fade, it's time for moving on. I'm playing the hits, yeah, you know where to start. I'm burning one down for the good lovers and the broken hearts. Keep the music playing like a mixtape. Keep the vibe rolling down the freeway. Or keep the moral high. destination. Spread your love across the nationwide. Keep the music playing like a mixtape. Keep the vibe rolling down the freeway. Keep the moral high. The process is the destination. Spread your love across the nationwide. Keep the music playing like a mixtape. Keep the vibe rolling down the freeway. Keep the moral high. The process is the destination. Spread your love across the nationwide.
Daniel Rodriguez, welcome to eTown. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
Was there a moment ever after Elephant Revival kind of went on hiatus that you thought about doing something other than music? Were you like, oh, maybe I'll go
Flip some burgers or something. Naturally, music became kind of a therapeutic balm for me. So the music was kind of what took over. And immediately I went out on tour with a band called Fruition, which kind of distracted me from, all that was going on with the hiatus and everything like that. And
Did you already have a bunch of songs that you'd written and were thinking about that maybe didn't fit the Elephant Revival format?
over the years, I had written a bunch of songs that never got recorded with Elephant Revival.
Yeah.
And I was always looking forward to trying those in different formats. And this kind of led to that. Although after the breakup, there was a lot of material for me to write about. So I wrote a whole bunch of new songs that I didn't even record all those old ones.
I think of you as being a sensitive writer and a writer of love songs and somebody who's, got some tenderness in your musical presentation. I don't know if you have to change what you do when you go out on the road with the Lumineers and you're playing to, thousands of people. Can you still be that sensitive guy, or do you have to step it up a little or something?
You learn pretty quickly, as I know you have, that nothing can be really forced with music, or else it just doesn't work and it doesn't feel good. So we just kind of had to learn how to play like who we are in front of 16 to 40,000 people. And Wes, the lead singer from the Lumineers, kind of fell in love with what we were doing. So I didn't think that we needed to do anything different.
Yeah, good sign.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand that there's a nonprofit organization that you support.
My girlfriend, Maddie, she's part of an organization called Wombs of the World. It's an organization where they travel abroad and invite a bunch of doulas. And they go to places like Tanzania, where, the mortality rate of infants is like one of the highest in the world. And they go to places like Ecuador, and they learn some of the innate wisdom of the birthing world there that's come through the ancestors. And we've done things like raised money to buy a ultrasound machine to bring to Tanzania.
Wow.
And they delivered the ultrasound machine with a big manual on how to run it. And there's these great pictures of 40 people a line out the door waiting to get their bellies checked out.
Wow. That's so cool that you found a way to use your notoriety and your recognition on behalf of something cool.
Well, eTown here is definitely a great example for all of us here in the music community around Boulder and worldwide, because you guys bring in lots of people. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Daniel. Thank you, man. Listen, we've got more music to play. It's really fun to play your songs. And for those of people who are just listening and maybe discovering you for the first time here this week, is there a website and people can just find Daniel? I know there's Daniel Rodriguez is also a boxer, and Daniel Rodriguez is also a famous tenor singer. And, so what's the advice you would give to people looking for the actual you?
Well, yeah, you know what I look like. No, look for Vast Nothing, Daniel Rodriguez, Vast Nothing, or Sojourn of a Burning Sun. Yeah,
those are album titles. Yeah,
those are album titles. Yes, of course. And there are two other famous musicians named Daniel Rodriguez. I'm not saying I'm famous, but there's the great tenor from New York City,
Puerto Rican tenor. Yeah,
and then there's Daniel Rodriguez from Minneapolis, who's great. He's He's a friend of mine now, but he wasn't at first when I first went solo.
Cease and desist letter from a fellow musician.
Yeah. It's like, hey man, it's my birth name.
Well, listen, I know they can find you out there, so be diligent if those are discovering and want to learn more about where they can see you on tour and learn more about your music. But meanwhile, we got more to play here. Thanks for stopping by eTown.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah, let's welcome back Daniel Rodriguez. This Daniel Rodriguez.
Here's a song called Dolores.
Dolores, I come to you broken and bruised. It's in your embrace I soak and I soothe. To heal and mend these wounds, it's never too late, it's never too soon. Dolores, I come to you. It's on this long and windy road. I come to feel your forces at work. How they keep it all together. I stop here in the silence of forever. Dolores, I dream of you. I come to you like a ravenous child. I come to you like a beggar in the night. I come to you broken and confused. And Dolores, I come to you. Come to you with all my lies. I'm pulling all my cards this time. I've forgotten how to walk. I've forgotten how to talk. Dolores, I crawl to you. I come to you like a ravenous child. I come to you like a beggar in the night. I come to you broken and confused. And Dolores, I come to you. I come to you like a ravenous child. Like a beggar in the night. I come to you broken and confused. And Dolores, I come to you.
Daniel Rodriguez, along with Emma Rose. And the eTones, that's Bradley Morse on the bass, Christian Seal on the drums, Adam Bodine on the keys, Helen Forster singing. He'll be back, play some more music a little later on in the show.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver area. As a reminder, for your viewing pleasure, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe in order to stay up to date with our latest offerings. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. This is eTown. Daniel Rodriguez is going to be back to play some more music later on the show. And coming up, the Dead Horses are here from Milwaukee. They are here also for their first visit. Before we bring them out, I want to tell you about a book I read recently. It's called An Elegant Defense.
It sounds good.
It's a bestseller by a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist and author Matt Richtel. And it's the story of our immune system. It's filled with good science and amazing stories of discovery about the long journey to learn more about this incredible array of well-intended cells inside all of us. Please welcome the author, reporter for the New York Times, Boulder native, Matt Richtel. Matt. One of the things early on in your book you talk about, people sometimes refer to the immune system in military terms, like this is a battle that's waged inside our bodies, and these, frontline warriors go out there and assassins and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then you kind of rephrased it and reformed it to say that it's really more like a peacekeeping force. So tell us what that's all about.
Yeah, I won't be a downer with talking about COVID, but I do want to tell you guys how COVID is an immune system story, and in many ways, owing to the question that you ask, I tend to think of the immune system as the love child of a bouncer and a ballet dancer. It is very delicately trying to identify intruders and then attack them with precision without doing collateral damage.
Yeah. So it's sort of like if you're having a spectacular party and you've hired a security firm that is somehow intuitively going to know who's invited and who's crashing.
Yes.
And it's going to discreetly remove the crashers without screwing up the party.
And millions of years of evolution have given us these tools that are incredibly precise and able to discern that. And then along comes COVID, as you know, is often called the novel coronavirus. It is novel to the immune system. So all this wiring and learning and adaptation ill-prepared our bodies.
Yeah.
That's why I say that story was and continues to be an immune system story at its core.
For me, just trying to grasp the idea that there are so many different cells that have specific jobs and they communicate with each other very rapidly and very efficiently. So maybe just describe what happens. I had a cut on my wrist. And so tell our listeners what happens when you get a cut.
Among the many, many things I learn is there are effectively two immune systems. There's an innate immune system. So when any of you get a cut, there is a kind of emergency services response inside your body, fire and police. And these are generic responders that rush to the scene to try to contain the damage. One of the interesting bits of trivia I learned in this is when you ever get a cut, and the cut is, say, a small area, but then later on, it looks like the damage was larger than that. Have you ever had that experience, like you get a bigger scar? That's because that innate immune system is actually getting rid of a concentric circle or a larger space around your cut. There is an adaptive immune response, which is nothing less than extraordinary. The innate immune response is extraordinary, but the adaptive are these B cells and T cells that bring precision killers, and they take a number of days to respond. Do you guys know the stock doctor phrase, you're going to feel rotten 7 to 10 days? That is born of the adaptive immune response because that's the amount of time it takes for these precision cells to recognize what's inside the foreign body, develop a foe, and manufacture it.
So it's T cells and B cells, and they're out assessing the situation. They are tapping the millions of years of evolutionary wisdom that helps them recognize what's foreign and what's okay. And one of the things that I also learned in your book is that cancer is particularly insidious because it somehow fakes those cells out into thinking that it belongs there and actually they should help them.
The reason that cancer often succeeds is because it sends a signal to the immune cells saying, don't worry about me, I'm normal tissue. And in fact, so insidious can cancer be that it can actually co-opt the immune cells to help build itself.
Right.
What immunotherapy does is it sends a signal back. It effectively tells the immune system, hey, go do what you're meant to. And that's what this inflection point we find ourselves in with immunotherapy.
Yeah. Interestingly, another thing that came out in your book is that, for example, right now we're seeing a big influx in cases of flu.
Yes.
And one of the reasons for that influx is apparently the fact that we've been so careful for the last few years, wearing masks, washing our hands, and we have tamped down our immune system's response mechanism. Is that right?
It's a theory that I buy.
Yeah.
I don't think we can know,
Yeah.
but I think it's fair to say that the immune system learns, and it regularly learns. Take preschool and kindergarten. That is, your kids are always getting sick and they're getting you sick, but more so, they are getting sick and their immune systems are training and learning. And for a period of years, and for quite good reason, we wore masks because the threat was so profound.
Yeah.
It minimized the amount of contact we had with germs. We are in a regular dance in which our immune systems are taking that input in and generating an immune response. As an aside, that's not too far of an aside, all that antibacterial soap and the antibacterial goop we used for years was challenging us in training our immune systems as much as it was giving us sort of a sense of relief.
I wish we had more time, but you do mention Dr. Fauci. He figures kind of prominently in your book. And now, of course, he's in the crosshairs from Elon Musk and Bobby Kennedy and others are saying, Dr. Fauci is either overreacting or he's in bed with the pharmaceutical companies or he missed the opportunity to have palliative care in the early stages of the pandemic and blah, blah, blah.
I'll say this. I got to spend a year with Fauci before he was the Fauci. I've rarely come across someone who is so thoughtful about so many difficult issues. And I think looking back, it's easy to do a lot of second guessing. I think they gave the best information that they had at the time. I began by saying COVID was an immune system story. We have learned so much. It's hard to recognize how nervous we were with a virus that not only was novel, and in another conversation maybe we can talk about it, but attacked the lungs, which are the hardest part of the body for the immune system to defend. Air has to come in and out. And so the immune system has a very hard choice to make about whether to react and how strongly. It puts at risk breathing. Remember, the dynamic we began this conversation with was how powerfully should you react? So in fairness to all those who were on the front lines initially, this was novel and attacking the most delicate part of the body for the immune system to defend.
Yeah.
And I think 2020 hindsight's nice. It was a really tough spot.
Totally. And then there's more in the book that deals with when the immune system response is overheated, and that becomes, drifts into autoimmune disease and other things. So there's a lot to learn, folks. And I found it very instructive, and I learned a lot. And I came away just with a sense of wonder at the miracle that is every breath. And so that was a gift that I got from your book. I want to just ask you now, at this stage in you and your family's life, where are you with your COVID-ness at the moment?
It would not surprise me if prior coronaviruses became versions of the common cold. So I think we're beginning to make peace with it. We're going to get used to disease again in our lives, and we're going to treat it with respect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate it.
Matt Richtel, author, reporter for the New York Times, Boulder native. The book is called An Elegant Defense. We have more music coming up from Daniel Rodriguez in a little while. Right now, I'm going to tell you about our next guests. Dead Horses are a Milwaukee-based duo made up of singer and songwriter Sarah Voss and upright bassist Daniel Wolff. They met in college. They joined forces in 2010. Sometimes there are more than just the two of them, and this week that is the case. They brought along Jamie Gallagher on percussion. They have a great story from the land of the Great Lakes, and we're glad they made it all the way to eTown Hall. Please help me welcome to eTown for their first visit, Dead Horses.
Strangers in the lost light, I just wanna get it right. Your eyes still shine so bright. you too sad. Well, I can understand that. Well, I can understand that. Mine's been so busy, and I can get so angry. Sometimes it really strikes me. How can everybody stand it? I think I'd like a night swim. Oh, there it is again. Oh, there it is again. Cognitive dissonance. Rich kid libertarian. Polarizing everything. Polarizing everything. Da, 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 da. I want something simple, dull and uneventful. No, I don't need no rock and roll. No, I don't need no rock and roll. Just a good book or two, something to put my mind to, and a few sweet laughs with you. A few sweet laughs with you. Someone sang you how to sing, and someone thought you had to think. Smoke a six on Brady Street. Smoke a six on Brady Street. Da, 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 da.
Dead Horses. Sarah Voss, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask you about the band name.
Can we talk about immune systems?
We can. We
I
could.
thought that was awesome.
Okay. I want to ask you about. It's funny because we talked briefly before the show about you having dial-up internet and downloading.
Not now.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about just kind of musical influences from really early on. And I grew up in the church, so...
Yeah. So you sang probably all the time.
Yep, one of the best gifts that gave me was music was just integrated in everything that we did. Morning, noon, and night. You know, we sang all the time. I learned how to sing harmony because I sat next to my mom in church, and she always sang alto because, dude, those Lutheran hymns, they're pitched it's so high. Who can sing that? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think we have to touch on this story just a little bit if it's okay with you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because growing up in the church family, your dad was actually the pastor of the church, and you were deeply ingrained. You lived in the parishioner's house. And,
That's right.
And then because of your medical issues in your family, your dad was expelled. Your family was expelled from the church. And you were suddenly like out in the real world without a community.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I think that the last thing that you said there, without a community, that kind of hits it on the head, because growing up in the church the way that I did, I lived right next door to the church. Like, going to church on Sundays was walking next door. And I went to parochial school too, so this is Lutheran in Wisconsin. If anyone's like Midwestern, you'll understand that. So many Midwesterners in Colorado, I love it. But it was our whole world. You know, and my mom's dad was a pastor as well, and it was everything. And there's a lot of politics in church, and as there are in many other things. And so there were a lot of different things that played a part
Yeah.
in them asking us to, or telling us to leave.
Yeah.
I have an older brother with mental illness. He's been diagnosed with schizophrenia. At the time, he hadn't been yet. We just couldn't really figure out what was going on. And we're dealing with lots of stuff. I mean, there were times where my parents called the cops to our house, and you're living next door to the church. The church, they don't
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look. It's
Were
true.
you playing guitar and writing songs
Hell
already?
yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
And you met Daniel in college, right?
Right after college, he was living in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which is where I grew up. Nice, Oshkosh Bagosh.
Gosh, bagosh, yeah.
And he was playing music with these two brothers that I had met in high school. And I came back to Oshkosh, ran into one of them. I was in like a tough spot in my life.
Were you a wild college kid?
No, I was not.
A lot of
I was a
church
wild
kids are-
post-college kid.
Post-college kid, okay.
You're right. I know we call ourselves PKs, pastors' kids, because we are pretty wild.
Yeah.
We usually do become, but
But Daniel gave you some vision of a musical partnership that could make sense for you, and you could play gigs and.
absolutely, yeah. I was really struggling in that time of my life, early 20s, not really sure what I felt comfortable doing at all. And when I got
With your identity or with substance abuse
everything,
or what?
identity, sexual identity was a huge part of it. Growing up, it was not okay to be gay. Like, that is worthy of hell, literally. And that was part of what kind of caused me to be in the place that I was. I had my first true experience with another woman, and I had just a mental breakdown because of it. Even though I didn't think, I knew in my heart that it wasn't wrong, but all the things that I had been taught growing up.
It's cool hearing that story, just because Daniel was talking about how breaking up with Elephant Revival, breaking up was great fodder for songwriting.
Yeah. I mean, you can write about anything, but there are certain things that it helps to work your way through what you're dealing with through any type of expression, whether it's writing songs or painting or telling jokes or writing anything.
Speaking of immune systems, we talked about the interruption that COVID gave all of us. And in your case, it was a big full stop. You had a tour
Yep.
booked, you had to cancel it, you had to take your day job at a grocery store.
I did. I loved it.
Yeah, I was going to say, playing music is a service gig, really. Like, you're on stage, but you're delivering a service to an audience. And I can imagine that being in a grocery store, there's some skills you picked up from touring that probably played into that.
Absolutely. I worked with people who felt like what they did didn't matter. And I disagreed with them, full stop, because grocery store workers are providing one of the most intimate things that we do as humans. It's what you eat. That matters a lot. You can find meaning in so many things, and you can also be doing meaningful things and not see the meaning in it. And I think that's
a great lesson. Yeah,
important
I
note.
love it. Yeah, nice job. And I think, listen, I think it's already been an incredible journey, and you're in your mid-30s or something now. So
Hell yeah.
Congratulations. You guys
Thank you.
have a lot in front of you. Let's play some more music. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Welcome
Let's
back
do
to eTown. Sarah Voss, Dead Horses.
Thank
Jamie
you.
and Daniel.
This song is just a reminder to everybody out there, when you feel like you have some shortcomings, or you're not being the person that you want to be, or you're not good enough at something. You are good enough at it, and you are exactly who you need to be. And that's the name of the song. It's called You Are Who You Need to Be. Here it is. Kiss me at night when the sky's full of light and the moment's just right. And I might just bend, but I will not break for my own damn sake. Lend you my hand when the world don't understand. You are who you need to be. When the world's out of touch and you don't feel enough, remember you are who you
try to speak with truth, with her eyes on you. And though she will not move her beliefs, you are who you are, and she is who she is, and she may just miss your light. I'll lend you my hand when the world don't understand. You are who you need to be. World's out of touch, and you don't feel enough. Remember, you are who you need to be. To be and you deserve love, and you are quite enough. F all that other bull stuff. Be who makes you feel most alive, and whether wrong or right, I'll lend you my hand when the world don't understand. You are who you need to be. When the world's out of touch and you don't feel enough, remember, you are who you need to be. To be.
Adam back here on keys, part of the eTones. You've been seeing him play all night, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, and as much as we are.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you for being here. I beat my friend up to the creek. I was walking in my young bare feet. If you've got something to say, then speak, then speak, then speak, then speak, then speak, then speak. I came first before my twin. We were both born right into sin, till I rubbed the giant redwood skin. Amen, 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 amen. Money comes and money goes.
lost my ego with my grin. I sure do hope it happens soon again. His hands are tied. My love for him is deep and wide. The day your brother almost died, he lay breathless on the bridge. Said heaven he
Dead Horses. That's Sarah Voss on the guitar and vocals, Daniel Wolff on the bass, Jamie Gallagher on the drums and percussion. The latest record is called Brady's Street from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Dead Horses.
This portion of eTown is made possible by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination. On the web at bohemianfoundation.org. If you happen to tune in late and you've missed some of this week's program, the eTown podcast will have this episode and others, along with content from past shows as well. It'll be available for free in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast directories. And if you're curious about eTown's home base, eTown Hall, our beautiful solar-powered music venue, community center, and recording studio located in downtown Boulder, Colorado, you can learn more about it on our website, etown.org. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. I'd like to say hello to our listeners who are hearing eTown right now on stations like KEOS in Bryan, Texas, on WUWM in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and on KRFC in Fort Collins, Colorado. As always, if you want some more information about any of the things we're up to here at eTown, lots of stuff is online at etown.org. You can find out about how to get tickets to live shows. You can also find links to our great videos, or you can even go to YouTube and subscribe to our video channel if you so choose. Right now, would you help me please welcome back to the stage Daniel Rodriguez.
In the darkness you saw your imagination. You saw fireflies dancing in your head. You drew pictures on the walls of forever. You walked around waking up the dead. The story always begins behind a curtain, where the stars fall in a bottomless sky. The vast nothing, you thought of something and put the stars right there in your eyes. Well, you can fly if you're not afraid of falling. So when you fall, don't be afraid at all. Well, you can live, but you know you're gonna be dying. So when you give, you gotta give your all. How there's street lamps that flicker on the plaza. There's suffering in every living room. There's belly laughs out there on the fringes. There's a little child staring up at the moon. Ah, she grows so fast they have to take pictures, but she'll remember only the things that will last. All the trials, the triumphs and tribulations, all the failures, the lovers and the laughs. Oh, you can fly if you're not afraid of falling. So when you fall, don't be afraid at all. Oh, you can live, but you know you're gonna be dying. So when you give, you gotta give your all. There's good times on the other side of the window. There's miracles everywhere you look. There's a band somewhere playing hallelujah. There's a poet writing in a book. There's a couple in their bedroom discussing all the things that could be hard to say. You're either a deer in the headlights, or you're the light in the dark all the way. Or you can fly if you're not afraid of falling. So when you fall, don't be afraid at all. You can live, but you know you're gonna be dying. So when you give, you gotta give your all.
Thank you.
Where were you when the wheels fell off the world? The sands of time turned to pearl and rolled away. The walls cracked, the ship had sank. 1,000 soldiers on a river bank. The queen bee forgot her ranks. Abandoned cars and broken jars, the stranded minds of movie stars, and food lines that go so far you can't see the end. Regular Joes and the who knows who are standing there on the avenue the morning after the end of the world. They're bailing water and placing bets. They're smoking the last of their cigarettes and telling jokes that might be too soon. Sculptures in the wreckage, pianos in the mud. Stood there watching as the flames went up, but all I could think of was you. Oh, your deep wilds and crescent moons, your silent nights and afternoons, and daydreams, your golden hours and daydreams, your red wine lips and galaxies, your Milky Way and mysteries. In its soft parade with the silhouettes of what remains of man's futile dreams. Now there's sparks and now there's flames. Before you it was just the rain. Before you it was just a name I heard. A million stars shining down on the boulevard. Let's ditch it all and walk the rest of the way. Where were you when the wheels fell off the world? The sands of time turned to pearl and rolled away.
Daniel Rodriguez, along with Emma Rose and the eTones, Bradley Morse, Christian Teal, Adam Bodine, Helen Forster. His record is called Vast Nothing. We've got time for one more song. I want to invite all our guests out and help us close out this show. A special thanks to Matt Richtel, our guest, the New York Times reporter and author, helping us understand the intricacies and beauty of our immune system. And he's also musical, so he's here and he's going to participate in our finale. I want to say a special thanks also to Dead Horses, Sarah Voss, along with Daniel Wolff, Jamie Gallagher. Thanks to the eTones and Emma Rose. Thanks to Helen Forster. Thanks to Daniel Rodriguez. Thanks to our cast and crew, engineers and volunteers. This definitely has a sing-along part. I'm Nick Forster. Hope you can be with us next week right here in eTown.
There's colors on the street, red, white, and blue. People shuffling their feet, people sleeping in their shoes.
There's a warm side road ahead. There's a lot of people saying we're better off dead. I don't feel like Satan, but I am to them. So I try to forget it any way I can. Keep on rocking in the free world. 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 We got 1,000 points of light for the homeless man. We got a kinder, gentler machine gun hand. Department stores and toilet paper, styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer. Man of the people says keep hope alive. Got fuel to burn, got roads to drive. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world.
This is a production of eTown.